Coordinates 4 degrees 30 and 114 degrees 40, A, 4.500 degrees north 114.667 degrees east, 4.500, 114.667 in the ASEAN. Officially the nation of Brunei, the abode of peace, is a country located on the north coast of the island of Borneo in Southeast Asia. Apart from its coastline with the South China Sea, the country is completely surrounded by the Malaysian state of Sarawak. It is separated into two parts by the Sarawak district of Limbang. Brunei is the only sovereign state completely on the island of Borneo. The remainder of the island's territory is divided between the nations of Malaysia and Indonesia. Brunei's population was 428,963 in 2018. The government is an absolute monarchy under the sovereign rule of Sultan and Yang di Pertuan, which implements a combination of English common law and Sharia law, as well as direct general Islamic practices. At the peak of the Bruneian Empire, Sultan Bolkiah such as Brunei to extend their influence, and for local rulers such as those of Manila to help strengthen their family claims to nobility. The maritime state of Brunei was visited by Spain's Magellan expedition in 1521 and fought against Spain in the 1578 Castilian War. During the 19th century, the Bruneian Empire began to decline. The Sultanate ceded Sarawak to James Brooke and installed him as the White Raja, and it ceded Sabah to the British North Borneo Chartered Company. In 1888, Brunei became a British protectorate and was assigned a British resident as colonial manager in 1906. After the Japanese occupation during World War II, in 1959 a new constitution was written. In 1962, a small armed rebellion against the monarchy was ended with the help of the British. Brunei gained its independence from the United Kingdom on 1 January 1984. Economic growth during the 1990s and 2000s, with the GDP increasing 56% from 1999 to 2008, transformed Brunei into an industrialized country. It has developed wealth from extensive petroleum and natural gas fields. Brunei has the second highest human development index among the Southeast Asian nations, after Singapore, and is classified as a developed country. According to the International Monetary Fund, Brunei is ranked 5th in the world by gross domestic product per capita at purchasing power parity. The IMF estimated in 2011 that Brunei was one of two countries with a public debt at 0% of the national GDP. According to local historiography, Brunei was founded by Awang Alak Bitita, later to be Sultan Muhammad Shah, reigning around AD 1400. He moved from Garang in the Tembrong district to the Brunei River estuary, discovering Brunei. According to legend, upon landing he exclaimed, Baruna, from which the name, Brunei, was derived. He was the first Muslim ruler of Brunei, before the rise of the Bruneian Empire under the Muslim Bolkiah dynasty. Brunei is believed to have been under Buddhist rulers. It was renamed Baruni in the 14th century, possibly influenced by the Sanskrit word, Varun, meaning seafarers. The word, Borneo, is of the same origin. In the country's full name, Negara Brunei Darussalam, Darussalam means abode of peace, while Nagara means country in Malay. The earliest recorded documentation by the West about Brunei is by an Italian known as Ludovico di Varthema, who also said the Bruneian people have fairer skin tone than the peoples he met in Maluku Islands. On his documentation back to 1550, we arrived at the island of Born, which is distant from the Mulch about 200 miles, and we found that it was somewhat larger than the aforesaid and much lower. The people are pagans and are men of goodwill. Their color is whiter than that of the other sort. In this island justice is well administered. The settlement known as Vijaypura was a colony to the Buddhist Srivijay Empire and was thought to be located in Borneo's northwest, which flourished in the 7th century. In the aftermath of the Indian Chola invasion of Srivijay, Datu Puti lead some dissident Datus from Sumatra and Borneo in a rebellion against Raja Makatunau, who was a Chola appointed local Raja. The dissidents and their retinue tried to revive Srivijay in a new country called Major as in the Visayas Islands in the Philippines. One of the earliest Chinese records of an independent kingdom in Borneo is the 977 AD letter to the Chinese emperor from the ruler of Boni, which some scholars believe to refer to Borneo. In 1225, the Chinese official Zhao Ruko reported that Boni had 100 warships to protect its trade, and that there was great wealth in the kingdom. In the 14th century, the Javanese manuscript Nagarikretagama, written by Prapanka in 1365, mentioned Brunei as the constituent state of Hindu Majapahit, which had to make an annual tribute of 40 kartis of camphor. In 1369, Sulu, which was also formerly part of Majapahit, had successfully rebelled and then attacked Boni, looting it of treasure and gold. A fleet from Majapahit succeeded in driving away the Sulus, but Boni was left weaker after the attack.